Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Scott from Reloader Supplies. How are you? This evening we are doing number 4 in our installments on shotgun maintenance, and this is the only one of the installments that doesn't carry over to under and overs and side by sides. This is really to do with under and overs, and I'll explain why in a minute. Under and over shotguns, stocks are held onto the actions by a bolt that runs up through the middle of the stock and tightens the stock up against the rear of the action. In New Zealand, with our very humid conditions, in the middle of summer, wood dries out a little bit and can become a little bit loose on a stock bolt. It just pulls away from it just becomes loose, and once it's loose, that bolt can back out a little bit. I had an incident not so long ago where a mate came up to me and said, "Scott, my gun feels clunky," and it wasn't clunky. His stock had become loose on the action. Now, luckily we managed to pick that up in time where no fatal damage was done. But the reality is, if your stock is loose on your action, it can crack the stock. There's a bit of a slamming effect goes on under recoil, and it can crack your stock. So part of your maintenance check should be just to check that your stock is tight against the action. And sometimes you can pick that up and just check the gun by almost pulling the stock away from the action. I can feel there's no movement there. Sometimes you'll be shooting it and you'll sort of feel it feels clunky. Well, that's actually not the gun, that's just the movement of the stock against the action in its operation, in the gun's standard operation. That's something you should be looking for and pick up when you're cleaning your gun. You should be checking your choke tubes, as we did in the series before this one, and just checking your stock. Is it tight? It's not moving. There's no movement there. That's good. If, and people do, it gets loose and it's left loose, there's a number of things that can happen. One, your gun fit's gone, because the stock will actually move up and down, so your gun fit is actually altering shot for shot every time, which is critical not to happen for good results. Also, with that slamming effect, the stock can actually crack, and some of those cracks can be repaired. If it becomes loose and it's banging against each other under recoil, that stock can crack. And some cracks can be repaired, some cracks can be fatal. And if that happens, that's an expensive fix. Now, this is something that can happen to any over and under if people are not aware of what they're doing. Very, very easy to fix. Most modern over and unders will have a slit in the back of the recoil pad. You might not even see it, you might need to part it to be able to find it. But basically, you will stick your stock bolt key down through that slit and just tighten your stock bolt up again. You're not trying to break it, because over tightening it could get a bad result also, but it should definitely be firmly tightened up against the action. Some stocks have adjustable cones in them. Now, a lot of the Italian adjustable cones work slightly differently. The cone piece, the adjustable piece, has 2 rods that actually drop down into the stock bolt hole. So to be able to gain access to the stock bolt and tighten it up, you may need to remove the cone piece off the top to be able to insert your stock bolt key and tighten up the stock. Just make sure it's tight, make sure it's checked regularly, and you'll have no issues. Let it go and it could be a fatal. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this series of 4. This is for you guys and girls that are shooting regularly. Maintain your guns, it'll give you a lifetime of service easily. At Reloaded Supplies, we don't sell teeth. We don't sell fishing rods. We sell guns and shit that goes bang. Thank you.